Hey guys, John Knutson here with BirdDog. We just want to do a quick little video about how to set a static IP address on your new device. The best way to do that is to plug a Ethernet cord directly from your computer into the new device that you just unboxed, and then power up the device with the DC adapter that came with it. Give it a 1 or 2 minutes, probably two would be better, and let the unit power on. Keep an eye on it as it powers up. Now the Mini just has a few little lights on the front, but the Studio and the new 4K units all have screens on them that tell you what the IP address is when it boots up. The Studio shows the IP address just for a brief moment, and then it goes into its kind of standard mode of tally or encode light or whatever. So pay attention to it as it boots up, and you'll see the IP address come up eventually at 192.168.100.100. Now, to do that, to get into it, we need to open our computer and get the computer on that same network. So here I am on a Mac, and I open System Preferences and click on Network, and it takes me to this page. Now, if you're using a Mac, you might see that your Wi-Fi is connected. We recommend just turning that off briefly while we do this little setup. But turn off the Wi-Fi, and then you'll see here that the Mac has probably self-assigned itself an IP address because there is no server on the network telling what IP addresses it should have. And so it just kind of defaulted to its own. Now, on a Windows machine, you would go to Control Panel and then go to Network and Sharing, change network adapters, which is on the left-hand side, and then double-click on the adapter that you want, and I believe it's Properties, and then go to IPv4. Double-click on that option, and then it'll open up a screen that says, manually put an IP address, and then that's where you would put in this information. So here on the Mac, we'll click Manual, and now I need to put in an IP address that will communicate with this device. So the default is 192.168.100.100, and so I need to get on the same network. So 192.168.100. And I'm going to say 25. The subnet mask needs to be 255.255.255.0, and real brief, 0 is a wildcard number, which means that this little spot right here can be any number between 1 and 256, but these numbers all have to be the same on other network devices in order for this computer to talk to those devices. So the subnet mask has to show this on all other devices in order for us to talk to it. And we'll see this again inside the BirdDog Mini. So 255.255.255.0, and then the router, we're just going to put in for now 100.100, which is the default for the BirdDog device. And we'll hit manual, or we'll hit apply. And now we'll go back to our screen here and put in 192.168.100.100 and hit enter. And it'll actually take you to this screen, which is the login screen. And the default password here is BirdDog. And then you'll get to the dashboard. And here you're going to see some critical information for what we're doing here today. The network default configuration is set to DHCP. The address is indeed 100.100 and the subnet mask. There it is again. So let's click on the network tab. And this is going to take us to where we can change it from static or from DHCP to static. And the fallback address is 100.100. We strongly recommend just leaving that because if there ever is a day that you need to troubleshoot the unit, the manuals and everything all say this, and support is familiar with this number, and so we can help you do that. But here we're going to set to static and just change this number to 50 because I'm going to set up a network in the 192.168.100 network, but I want this device to talk on its own and have its own address. And so I'm going to write this down, keep this information for myself, but that this unit is going to be .50. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and then the gateway is going to be my computer or the TriCaster or the vMix machine that you're using, whatever that is. And so I'm going to fill this out. This actually would look like this by default, and we can just say 192.168.100.25, and then that is going to work for this network. So I'm going to hit apply. And what's going to happen is I'm going to lose connection to this because we connected to this device through its IP address. And so now I've got to change this to say 50, and it's going to take me back to the dashboard. Now it might take you to this screen, but again, the default password is BirdDog. If you've changed the password, you'll have to put in your new one, but by default, the default password is BirdDog. And there we have it. Now we can see that the network configuration is set to static. The address is 100.50, and here's the subnet mask 255.0. If your IT department has given you a set of IP addresses that you're allowed to use to set as static, you also need to find out what the subnet mask is, and you need to find out what the company gateway is for your network that you're putting these devices onto. So before you do this, be sure you have all this information, because you could lose the device, or it may not work correctly if you set just one field but leave these other two as is. So you need to be sure to have all this information before you try and set static IP addresses. But then hit apply, and then be sure to remote back into the device. If you're setting this for a network device that's going to be on a network with other, data, you can now unplug it, take it to that location, plug it in, connect your computer to that network. We would then go back here. Probably we've turned this back to DHCP, turn back on our Wi-Fi, get back on that network, and or plug directly into it, and then you'd be able to pull up the device at that address by punching it in on your web browser. We really hope this has been helpful. It's just been a real quick little tutorial. Give us a shout if you have any questions, or you need to go a little bit deeper at help@bird-dog.tv, and we can give you a hand there. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next video.